What's up, guys? I started my Death Guard army January of this year, and lo and behold, Games Workshop has released some pretty cool boxes for the latest release of the new Death Guard Codex. I'm sure like many of you out there, I got super excited when I saw the preview for this box, so of course, I immediately threw my money at Papa G Dubs as soon as this thing was available for pre-order. I was really fortunate and managed to pre-order from my trusty local game store, but I had to wait until the third release wave to get this box because it was so in demand, but they managed to pull through. Definitely support your local game stores as they can get you 15% off discounts on GW products. Now this box is unfortunately currently not available, and I'm not sure if there will be another release. So with that said, I want to focus on a couple of things. How does this box compare with previous Death Guard value boxes? Is it worth hunting down secondhand? The contents of the box, and finally, was it worth the hype? Let's go. This is the Poxwrought Vector. At release, it cost $240 MSRP, but if you manage to get it from your local game store, it costs around $204 in the US, not including sales tax. The box comes with the trifecta of Death Guard demon engines. You get the Plague Burst Crawler, Voided Bloat Drone, and the Mephitic Blight Hauler, which, if you're early on in your Death Guard collection, this is pretty much a dream come true from a collection and painting perspective. For the battle line, the box has 5 Blight Lord Terminators, 7 Plague Marines, and the one and only Lord of Poxes, who is public enemy number 1 for global warming.
How dare you!
This totals up to a massive 705 points of pure, unadulterated plague destruction that would please Papa Nurgle enough to gift you a pet Nurgling. If you got this box for the $204 price tag, congratulations, you got some pretty darn good savings, but how do the savings in this box compare to the previous Death Guard value boxes? Well, it's about the same. The Council of the Death Lord, released in 2021, got you around $110 in savings. The Plaguefester Warband in 2022 got you around $105 in savings, and the Poxwrought Vector gets you around $100.
Nice.
However, when it comes to points, things get a little spicy. The Council of the Death Lord only got you around 525 points despite having Mortarion himself. The Poxwrought Vector gives you around 705, which is not bad at all. Now, the Plaguefester Warband box got you a whopping 780 points in the current codex. This is mostly due to it having 3 Mephitic Blight Haulers. So as far as pure value, I would say out of the last 3 boxes, the Plaguefester Warband was probably the best box. Now, is this box worth tracking down? If you're going to the secondhand market, the best place to look is going to be on r/miniswap or your local game stores, as those are the places that you're probably going to be able to buy it closest to MSRP. However, finding it those ways is going to be challenging to say the least. Now, if you can't find it from a good seller, is it worth it to get it from an eBay scalper? No. I've seen this box going for over $300 online on eBay, which in my opinion is highway robbery. I wish Games Workshop would figure out how to deal with these scalpers, because paying the scalper fee is definitely not worth it, because at that cost you lose literally all the cost savings from the box, which in my opinion is the purpose of buying a box like this. At that point, you might as well buy each model individually from your local game store and support your local businesses. This was especially bad with the limited edition Codex release, which I'm not going to talk about in this video. In my opinion, the only thing to be concerned about here is that Games Workshop might never release the Lord of Poxes individually like another certain model that hasn't been released since 8th edition. Personally, I think that this won't be a problem though, because the Lord of Poxes came in the box on its own sprue, unlike the Lord of Contagion, but we'll see what Games Workshop does. I'm pretty optimistic though. Now, how is the sculpt for the new Lord of Poxes? For the build quality, it was pretty good. He wasn't too complex and the instructions were easy to follow. However, there are some pesky mold lines on his backpack and some small gaps on his left shoulder pad and the turbines on his backpack. They weren't too hard to get rid of, and I was able to use a tiny bit of sprue glue to fix the gap on his left shoulder, But overall, there were no significant gaps or confusing instructions, so I will give him a B plus for build quality. For aesthetics, I give this guy an S. He is a unique and cool looking Death Guard model. I love the open pose they chose for him, so I don't have to worry about painting him fully assembled. The way he carries his great plague sword looks super awesome and imposing. The backpack is unique as well and makes his silhouette larger, so you can clearly tell that he's an HQ and not a regular battle line unit. Now, was this box worth the hype? All in all, I would say yes. This box gives around $100 in cost savings, which is always helpful when it comes to Warhammer, and it includes some essential units for the Death Guard army. The only thing that could have made this box better is if they maybe included some Deathshroud Terminators instead of Blight Lords. However, they just buffed Blight Lord Terminators, so I don't think that that is an issue. If you're a newer Death Guard collector like myself, having the 3 Death Guard vehicles is going to be a massive plus to your collection, plus the box includes the brand new Lord of Poxes, which is awesome. If you're someone who already has a lot of Death Guard demon engines, then you aren't really missing out much on this box, assuming that Games Workshop will release the Lord of Poxes separately. Again, I think that they will. I would say that this box is definitely better for newer Death Guard collectors in general though. And that's the review. Hope that you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. I've got future plans to make painting videos on each of the models in this box. Subscribe if you want to stay tuned to my channel, and I hope to catch you in the comment section.